the First Baptist Church here in Columbia. It's going to join the motorcade processional here, led by the Highway Patrol motorcade. They're headed down the steps now here at the First Baptist Church in Columbia. It's an assortment of pallbearers from different branches of the armed services. They're now leaving as they walk carefully down the steps with the casket, headed towards the Dunbar hearse. There's a long line of vans ready to go behind the processional and join in that processional. If you can see at the top of the steps, Darlene and the Graham family are standing at attention as the senator is brought down the steps here at the First Baptist Church. He's heading to his final resting place. That'll be in Pickens County. That's his hometown up in the upstate. Just after he passed away, we actually went right up to the upstate and people there were shocked. That's his hometown where he grew up in Central. In Central, he grew up in the back of a pool hall. He raised his sister. First Baptist Church. During the service, Senator Tim Scott and Governor Henry McMaster paid their tribute.
Here, as we watch the final images, is the conclusion of Senator Lindsey Graham's Celebration of Life service at First Baptist. The former Congressman Trey Gowdy with a powerful eulogy right there. Tell me some of your takeaways from that 2-hour-long service.
Darlene standing with her family as they watch the senator prepare to take his final trip through South Carolina back to his hometown in Pickens County. Up until his death, he had a home in Seneca, South Carolina, and he's from Central South Carolina. The Armed Forces pallbearer team completing their duties here. Columbia is a notable city for Senator Graham. Despite being the capital of the state, it's also where he attended the University of South Carolina undergraduate and law school. He was a champion for the university. Actually caught up with former President Pastides and current president of the university, President Amarides, and both said Senator Graham made a lasting impact on the university. They are now closing the door of the hearse and closing Senator Graham's casket inside. The hearse is adorned with the U.S. symbol there. The senator's family are being escorted into their vehicle here. They're going to be following the hearse and part of this procession, making that trip to the upstate. Senator Graham's casket actually came to Columbia from D.C. last night, and now it is heading to Pickens County. We hear the Highway Patrol motorcade starting to rev up here. They're getting in position. You can hear the emergency vehicles are starting to go as this procession gets ready to head towards Pickens County. There's crews gathered here. There's doctors out from Prisma and just onlookers hoping to get a glimpse and pay their last respects to the senator as he leaves the state capitol here in Columbia and heads towards his hometown of Pickens County. They're getting a couple more friends and families situated in this processional. And it's important to note that Senator Graham did have a distinguished record in the United States Air Force. There were a lot of veterans and members of the armed forces here today to honor and celebrate his life. Graham represented the U.S., South Carolina in the U.S. House in 1994. He was elected to the Senate in 2002 and had been serving ever since until his death, July 11th. His death came as a shock. He was actually just in Ukraine at that time, right before he passed away. Now they're making a few final last touches on the processional. Graham came to the First Baptist Church of Columbia often. He's also Baptist himself. He was a longtime member of the Corinth Baptist Church in Seneca. Both of his parents passed away when he was very young, and he took over for them and cared for his younger sister, Darlene Graham, who we just saw. She joined the processional. She got in the car directly behind the casket of her brother. She's actually serving right now as the senator for South Carolina here in her brother's place until the election. The special election is going to happen a little bit later on.
To
We talked to many people here at the funeral today who came from all over South Carolina, just hoping to pay their respects. And again, there were a lot of members of the armed forces, veterans, and their families thankful for the championing that the senator did for the armed forces and military members and their families. Now, this service was carefully curated, the funeral service. I actually had a chance on Sunday to talk with the Minister of Music here at First Baptist, Steve Phillips, and he said there was a group of about a dozen people here at First Baptist working with the Graham family and their team to make sure that this service was the perfect tribute. He said that Darlene and their family requested that they play Amazing Grace as one of the hymns, and he said that the choir really wanted to play How Great Thou Art. They felt that that was one of their strong hymns, so they did do that for the senator, telling me that it's just an honor to be able to be the choir singing here in Columbia for his funeral service. The governor also remembered fondly the personal moments he and the senator shared, referencing Borat and just how the senator made people laugh and was very personable. Others made jokes about him talking to little kids about Social Security and just really remembering fondly his serious moments, his policy, the work he did in the Capitol. And the motorcade is taking off here. The Highway Patrol motorcade, and Senator Lindsey Graham's casket is heading down Hampton Street here, headed towards Pickens County. Here goes the rest of the processional, and they are headed towards Pickens County. I'm going to send it over to JR, who's at the State House, to kind of break down what we've seen here today. I am live in Columbia, Kiki Gushu, News 19 WLTX. JR?